So my name is Musa. I'm from the East Strand and I'm one of the graduates for the TPPE program or TPPE qualification for 2023. So how I heard about the program was actually through a colleague or through a friend who'd subsequently sort of spoken about it. And I mean, I think having some exposure in the property space, it was something of interest, especially from as a developer effectively. I think the big thing around the course was obviously the case study. It allowed for one to sort of get a full understanding as to what the process is from sort of taking a building, converting it, and then finding a way to commercialize it effectively. And I think the nice thing about that is that it enabled that. There was a strong case study that we had to do. We went there, saw the building, kick bricks, and I think that made the academic piece very real, and practical in essence. What the course typically has added in essence to what I'm currently, or what I've known effectively, was to sort of how do you ensure that you've got a viable project effectively, and not just in the short term, but how does it last the test of time over 10, 15 years in essence. And I think one of the key things it highlighted is to how do you protect against that downside or that time downside effectively, and not just necessarily building for or developing purely for just a short-term gain, but to sort of say how do you actually build an asset that will last for quite a bit. I mean, as for it being a course I'd recommend to someone, I think I definitely recommend it. I think the nice thing is what I picked up is that in our cohort, there were not just people that had never been in the space before, but there were people who have been in the space for over 10, 20 years. And I'd highly recommend it because I think if you are starting out, you're engaging with quite an experienced group of individuals. But even in the same breath, if you've been in the space for quite a long time, there's still a lot more that you get. I mean, I think the big thing around this case study speaks to that, right? Because there's a lot of academic work. I mean, the prof that lectured in the class, highly experienced. The type of guest lectures that we had, highly experienced and are active in the space. So I'd highly recommend it. And it's not just backward looking, but it's very much forward looking in a sense that they touch on things like ESG factors. How do you ensure that you're building buildings that align with those sort of things, or those sort of policies in essence. And I think then speaking about impact funders, how does that tie into impact funding? So it's not just for a novice individual, and it doesn't discount the quality of information that is shared for someone who's got a lot of experience in the space.